Adhemz, the number one YouTuber, number one creator in New Zealand, 16.5 million subscribers. When was your first viral moment?
It was actually because of Jake Paul. You have to choose either to be famous in New Zealand only. If you want to take it further and go global, you have to be willing to be completely misunderstood here. People will be like, how do I be famous? I'm like, just go that way. But we love seeing other people do things that either we would do or wouldn't do.
Where your fuel comes from.
I'm just angry.
So what have been some of the negatives along the journey?
Probably the mental health side of it. When you're going down, they will shit on you and make sure you go lower.
What helped you get out the other side?
I would say,
Kia ora everyone, Zach and Jake here from The Martin Show. Just a friendly reminder to please subscribe to our channel. It helps the channel more than you know, and it gives us more opportunity to be able to bring great guests.
We appreciate all the love we have received in 2024. 2025 is going to be a massive year. Enjoy all the episodes coming up, whānau. Macha aroha.
To the moon. Adhemz, welcome to the show.
thank you.
Bro, I do want to start the show and close the show with a Sigma face. So let's hit it in a 3, 2, 1. Straight down the barrel on the 2-shot. I'm going all the cameras. I don't even know how to do it. Bro, I'll never be able to do it like the bro. Bro, welcome, man.
Thank you.
Hectic. Bro, we were just talking off camera and what you said sort of took me by surprise. So I want to start there. This is your first, like one of the first collaborations you've done.
Very first, yeah.
In New Zealand.
Yeah.
And you've been here since you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
So you've been here 21 years. Sorry to discuss your age.
No, it's okay.
Why do you think that is, bro? That stood out for me.
I can actually get really deep into this conversation because I've went through ups and downs about it, and there's a lot of depth to it that people don't consider. So on one hand, because I'm sure you've heard tall poppy syndrome. Ever since I was in school, I've always been ridiculed for doing anything. Like even before I made videos, I was just doing flips. Like I was always that parkour kid jumping off the roof and stuff. And then, so I was one way or another, I was always getting attention, whether it was good or bad.
Yeah.
And then, and ever since then, I was always ridiculed. Or like, for example, when I first came to New Zealand, there was a lot of racist, stereotypes that weren't they weren't exactly regulated or cared about. So teachers sometimes would agree. When not long ago, it was very white centric.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was if you were anything other than the typical white person, then it was okay to make fun of you in some way.
Yeah.
However, to be fair, the only when I came, the only people that were way more welcoming to me than, sorry to be a little racist here, but the only people that were welcoming to me when we first came were Maori Islander, they were the only ones that didn't make me feel excluded or just weird or outcasted.
Wow.
Every problem I've had was always, in school, bullying and all that kind of stuff, it was always some white dude.
Yeah.
Not to be racist, but it was just it was that stigma of before racism became an issue. And then until now, it's still kind of similar. There's a little bit of it there. But back to your question. So the whole tall poppy syndrome thing, there's two things about it. On one hand, yes, people tend to not like it when you're aiming above the average. But on the other hand, it's they do promote people that are locally famous. Yeah. So people who are locally famous are actually famous here in New Zealand. Then I was okay, I'm being rejected here in every front. But then as soon as America notices me, all of America notices me. And I'm oh shit, okay. Logan Paul, Mr. Beast, big people that I never thought I would be able to talk to. And it's you guys are instantly you guys have hundreds of millions of people, but there's some dude from New Zealand. And it's because they're way bigger and more open-minded when it comes to this stuff. However, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to New Zealand, it's kind of a protective mechanism. because it's like why should you promote someone that doesn't relate to your culture?
Wow.
Because it's like, on one hand, you have to understand that it's like, that's actually a good way to protect the indigenous culture of specific places. So it's almost a good thing that they're not focusing on me as much as they're focusing on their own people. So it's like, on one hand, it's like that thing. So you have to look at it from two sides. And on the other hand, it's like, I'm being noticed everywhere because everywhere else is very business minded and less culture centric. Whereas here, it's like, people hate it, but I think it's almost, it's just a protective mechanism of what indigenous and tribal cultures do to not get lost in the world and lose their culture.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it's like, a lot of people hate New Zealand for that, but I'm like, but I looked at it in every possible direction and I'm like, this is how New Zealand's going to stay alive. Because you don't want to lose that. That's how every country's indigenous races get lost.
Yeah.
Is they accept too much people from the outside.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that's my kind of take on that stuff.
Brother, that is powerful. What a star. That is huge, actually. And actually, before we go any further with that, I do want to, because there'll be some people that, like you said, some people, a lot of people know who you are, and there may be the odd few that don't. And just so everyone does know, this man is the number one YouTuber, the number one creator in New Zealand. And that stands out for me, bro, because I feel like, what do you think it is? Do you feel like the tall poppy is obviously it's very topical here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I hear stories when you go to the LA, when you go to America, there's none of it. How do you feel for a Maori, for us indigenous? Do you feel like we should be aiming towards the global stage and trying to get that world recognition of whatever it may be? Or do you feel like we should be staying in the traditions of what we used to?
Yes and no. Like, no, don't stay with what you're used to. You always have to evolve one way or another. But two, you should start getting into the world without losing yourselves. So don't sell yourself trying to get approval from the earth globally, because that is exactly how you start losing where you came from.
Wow.
Because a lot of people just end up being like cultural sellouts, where they just they forget where they came from, and then that race starts to get forgotten. Which is also why The Rock is one of my favorite actors, because it's like he shows what people from there can do. Like the most famous man on earth is Samoan.
Yeah.
And nobody realizes that. It's like how powerful that is.
Oh my God.
After all of everything that's happened throughout history, and all of that, like for example, every colonization that's happened in history, yet you end up with a Samoan being the most famous person on earth. And it's like a big FU to everything that's happened in history. And that's what I like about it.
Oh my God.
So it's like, and he did it he got that big without losing where he came from. He's always repping where he came from. And I feel like that's how you should approach everything else.
Yeah, brother. I actually had a very interesting conversation with a kaumatua, an older male. And it was around my decision of wanting to move to Bali. I was thinking about moving to Bali for, I don't know, maybe a year or so. I just had a plan on, I'm gonna go to Bali. I went there at the end of last year. Anyway, I'm having this yarn with him. He lived in there, he's another Maori man. He lived there for 10 years. And one of the things he said to me, I was talking to him about how great of a time I had so much excitement, all this sort of stuff. And he said to me, he's like, one thing that a lot of Kiwis do, especially Maori Kiwis that go to Bali, is they lose an essence of who they are. They lose their mana, is what he said to me. And he was talking about some key individuals that I was mentioning over there. I won't say their names. And I was like, oh man, what about them? What about them? Like they've got success. And he told me, he's like, bah, but they lost an essence of who they are. And I remember it made me pause for a second. I was like, shit, okay, maybe I do have to reevaluate and think, okay, even if I do go, I want to make sure I do go with the right intention of making sure that I don't lose that essence. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's Bro, what a powerful start to our conversation, brother. I love this so much. But I want to go to you before we dive into the whole YouTube. I didn't think we were going to go there straight off the bat, and I love it. Before we dive into the whole YouTube scene and all that sort of stuff, I want to get to know a little bit more about Adam. So what do we need to know about you, bro, to know a little bit more about the life that you've lived?
Before even YouTube started, or even before even I knew about YouTube, I just always had a weird like gravitation towards cameras. I'd always pick up the family's like old big DSLR camera, like, you know, those like camcorders, like I'd pick up those. I started off making stop motions. So I had toys, I'd make them move. You know, when you like take pictures and move them a little bit? Yeah. And I would make little animations. And then slowly I started to talk over the animations. And then eventually it just went into just realizing I just love making videos. And then from there, I started posting them on like random accounts all over the internet and stuff. And it was just kind of always, I don't know what it is, but it's like ingrained into me ever since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So that's the one thing I've been doing for almost my entire like conscious life. Like, you know, as soon as you start thinking as a kid, ever since I could remember anything, all I've been doing is just filming.
Wow.
I guess, yeah.
So even in high school, you were still thinking like, man, no, like you had your career set in stone where you were like, nah, I'm gonna make videos. Like you knew that even
I
in
didn't
school?
know it as a career, no, because you're always hit with everyone's like expectations and standards, and like everyone's just like, this is what's realistic, this is where you can go, you need these grades for this. So I thought like the most realistic thing I could do is be a graphic designer, like, or a person who, I used to be an editor as well. I'd edit for people, I'd film and take pictures for people and like do design and stuff. And I thought that was the realistic like approach to what I wanted to do. And I did that for a few years, and it was like, but it didn't really, something didn't feel right.
Yeah. Didn't feel you.
Yeah.
Wow. When did you know, like, when did you start taking it seriously?
Do you know Joseph Rakic?
Yeah. Oh my God. Bro, Joe. Next time he's in NZ, he's coming on the show. He's going back to Dubai now. I met him at the beginning of the year. Bro, he's an animal. Yeah, I love him. Anyway, carry on.
He was one of the last few people I filmed and edited for, because this is how I saw it. I was doing some stuff for him. The way it happened was I was making edits and I was posting them online, and my brother was friends with his wife from like high school and stuff. And then, so she saw what he was, my brother would share my videos. Then she saw the videos, his wife, Mariam. And then she would show them to Joseph and be like, you should make videos with this guy. Like he could make your videos and stuff. And then from there, I actually got like a proper like job and stuff, and I would like do stuff for him. But like when I was like doing stuff for him, I was like, what? Like I'm making videos for a guy who owns a Lamborghini and he's famous and all this stuff. And to me, that was my cue. I was like, because you know how I was still in the mind of like, it would have to be a miracle to do anything in this life type of thing. But to me, that was a message from the universe. Like if I could even be friends with a guy like Joseph, that has to be some kind of clue that I have to be going somewhere. Like, because to me, like if I'm simply just like that close to him, it has to be a sign. Yeah. There has to be a sign that this is like, if this is physically possible in front of me, there has to be a sign. So then from there, as his editor, I would ask him a billion questions. And then I would just nonstop be asking for advice and all this stuff and everything. And then I started to learn his mindset. And then we kind of just became friends. Like I gave him information that I knew about. I give him sometimes advice about certain things. He'd give me. But because of him, it completely broke that barrier of whether it's possible or not to live life. So because of him, it was like my first like crack open of that shell and be like, this is possible.
Oh my God.
This is definitely. And then from there, I started to do more. I started to do more stuff for myself. So I went from behind the camera to in front of the camera. And then from there, it was just like, that was my eye opener. I was like, if he exists and he's in my reality, surely I can do something close to this. Yeah. And then from there, it started kind of like a snowball effect.
Bro, that is powerful. That's the importance of mentorship though, right?
Yeah.
That's a key that I always bring up a lot of conversations with our guests is, have you had any mentors? Joseph Rakic.
Yeah.
Look what you've done, brother.
Joseph. That's the thing. He doesn't even know he mentored me.
Yeah.
But I kind of indirectly forced him to because of the questions I would ask.
Yeah.
I'd just be asking the right questions.
Oh my God.
And then because other thing is, this dude, like, you wouldn't think he's a multimillionaire because of how much he'll give you his time. He'll meet you anywhere. He'll talk to you about anything. He'll spend however much time you need to talk about something. And then he'll like if you're talking to him, he'll prioritize that moment more than anything.
Yeah.
And he'll way more than he has zero ego when it comes to this stuff.
Wow.
And then, but people who have nowhere near what he has have 10 times the ego. And it's just that's what I learned. I'm like, people who actually have it don't project it onto you. People who don't have it pretend like they have it and they use it as their ego front.
Oh my God.
That's what I learned about this whole thing. It's
yeah. Bro, I do want to go back slightly though, because you said that it was going to take some type of miracle to succeed in this life before Joe and the lessons that you learned from him. I had a conversation with my brother yesterday about limiting beliefs. So you had some limiting beliefs on what was possible for you to achieve. It's pretty much what you're saying. And me and my brother were navigating this yesterday. What are your limiting beliefs? What are mine? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think it is, bro? What were you before you had Joseph there? What were your limiting beliefs? Why did you have that idea that, man, I'm never going to be able to achieve something great in this life?
It was mostly, I think, environment. It was just purely environment. It was just I was being told the same thing that everyone's told, all that realistic stuff of being in this standard and this box and stuff. But something felt wrong. I'm I didn't let the programming get into me as much as it did to everyone else, because I'm just there has to be more. This can't be it. There has to, if all these people are doing it, why is it so impossible for me? And it is impossible for me because I had that barrier of I can't say, if I saw more than $1,000 in my bank account, I would be I would self-sabotage. I'd be oh my God, this is too much. I have to spend it. I would just be, because my brain had to see a lower number, not because I had money to spend, but because anytime I had money, I was not used to it. And so it subconsciously always go back to that level of where you magnetically believe you should be at.
Wow.
And it's purely because of how you see your parents, your family treat anything outside of the ordinary. They treat it with so much weight that it's that you take that on. But I was just one of the few that didn't really accept the programming as much.
How old were you when Joe came into your life? How old were you when you had that realization the world is my oyster?
I think 21, roughly 20. I think 21.
Roughly crucial age as well.
Yeah.
Crucial age. What did you do then? What was your first step or first action? If someone, because there'll be people here listening that are in that same, they might be 21, they might be 31. They have those limiting beliefs of that might be their environment. They're not sure. What would you say to them? Would you just first action change your environment, or what would you say to those people
I would say change environment to an extent, because it's impossible to completely get out of your environment and just, start from scratch. You're going to start missing people. But I would say limit your interactions with people who don't agree with what you're doing, because especially if you want to do it out of spite. A lot of people like to do things out of spite. And if you do it that way, it's it's a good fuel, but it's the reason behind what you're doing is going to make you do it for the wrong reasons. Whereas if you just do it out of where you individually want to be in your life, do it for that reason, clean up your sense of revenge or spite or looking back at anything, just let go of people. Don't even hate them, don't judge them, just let go, slowly let go of people who don't want to see you succeed. Yeah. And then keep around the people who obviously do and stuff. However, when you do start doing it, when you do start succeeding, you'll really quickly realize who's actually there for you or not. Because that starts to clean people up really fast. Wow. People who you think are people who you thought were rooting for you, the moment they see you actually doing those things, they're oh, wait a minute. You weren't supposed to come too high. Come back down.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bro.
It's so yeah, but on top of that, I would say the sooner you start, the sooner you realize you should have started sooner. It's that simple. Wow. There's no magic to it. You just trust me. Most of you right now watching this, you are wasting time and you know it.
Yeah, bro.
Just the sooner you start, the sooner you realize you've been wasting so much time. Just do it.
Oh,
just do it.
Great advice, brother. You mentioned the word fuel.
Yeah.
I want to know where your fuel comes from.
Many things, but the main thing is, I would say, I'm just angry. I'm like, people think I'm like motivated and happy and like all this stuff. I have zero motivation. I have no inspiration, motivation, nothing. I am like, I look nice and bubbly and calm right now, but if you could see what I feel on the inside, it would almost be demonic. It's like the anger in me to get this stuff done and live the vision that I have in front of me. That's my fuel. It's like, I have to be in that position where there's no more problems. There's no more bills. There's no more, like, if someone needs something, I've got it. Like, I want to be able to just be abundant in any sense.
Wow.
Like, I hate the idea of not having enough, whether it, not just for myself, just whether like, if I see, like when you see someone who needs something and you don't have enough to help them, it's like, that it just feels wrong. Like, yeah, there's the materialistic side of it of I want like 10 supercars, I want Lamborghinis, mansions and stuff. But at the same time, I want to be able to help people when they need help.
Yeah.
Whether it's family or a stray cat or whatever, it's like, I just want to be able to help. That's one thing. I want to be able to always be in a position of like, oh, you need something here. I've got it. Like that type of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I resonate with that a lot, bro. I use the word protection. Like, and you can protect people through
Exactly.
lending or giving, and it's very powerful. Do you think you've always possessed that type of fuel since the age of 21 or even younger?
I think, no, I didn't. It's always been in me, but it's been dormant until I gave up who I was trying to be. You know, like when I gave up this idea of trying to fit into people's expectations of me. And then when I let go of everything, all that stuff collapsed and shed away. All that was left is something I didn't pay attention to for almost my entire life that I only found recently. And then it's this, like, it's weird because it's like, I feel like I'm going through puberty again.
Yeah.
Like when I let go of that, I feel like I'm going through a phase of my like development that it's, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, I feel like if there is an adult form of puberty where something clicks and your chemicals, your hormones, everything changes and you suddenly just want to start doing things. I feel like there's that stage and nobody actually has nobody activates it. Everybody has it. Not everyone activates it. People go through their last phase of physical puberty at in their teenage years, but I feel like there's a spiritual puberty of like, wait a minute, there's so much more. Wow. There's so much more I could do. And I'm like, but I feel like it's hidden under everyone's limiting beliefs. Because once you let go of them, you realize there's an animal in you.
Oh my God, brother. And you think those are all recent realizations for you?
Within the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Within the past 5 years, it's like, because you have to go through first the cleansing of everything you thought you used to know and the beliefs you used to know. And then once they're all gone, then you've made room for something new. But the new thing is whatever you've been trying to program yourself with. And it's like this whole new vision of I can see it now.
Bro, I think that's it, bro. That's what Jake and I were talking about. I was trying to think of, because I think I'm very, very similar in this new, I don't know what it is or looks like yet, but I look at it when he asked me, I'm like, I don't know what it is, bro. I don't think there are any barriers. I think we're going to the bloody moon. I literally think it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But again, not many people activate it.
Yeah.
But you're right. How do we get those people to get underneath that thing and just get that animal out? I don't know what it is, but I think it's through, conversations like these definitely help. So you mentioned the word that you're angry. I find that very, very interesting. What do you mean by that, bro? Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? And do you mean you go out your day with, it's sort of like a David Goggins sort of mentality of
I think so.
Life is a struggle no matter what you're doing. So stay hard and go get it. Is it that sort of mentality?
It's that, because if you think about it, we came to Earth to suffer. I guarantee you can't name one person that isn't a baby that hasn't suffered. Everyone's here to suffer. So if you choose to suffer, it won't come to you later. If you choose to avoid suffering and you keep going towards everything that's convenient and easy, then it's going to come to you in a way that you can't control. It's like, oh, this person hasn't suffered yet. Let's give them something. The universe is going to give you something. God's going to give you something, whether you like it or not, because that's the only way we can really grow and learn. But if you choose to do it, if you get your homework out of the way now, it's like, oh, this guy's done his work. I don't need to throw anything at him. He's chosen it already. This is all spiritual. But like, oh, these guys have chosen it. They've done their homework. They've graduated from this suffering. So now whatever they want to do, their path is going to be clear because I don't need to throw anything at them. They've chosen to suffer. Whether it's going to the gym, whether it's facing your own demons, whether any of that kind of stuff, if you just control and choose your suffering, I guarantee you, you're going to get so much karma out of the way.
Oh my God, brother.
It's like,
that's beautiful. I want to carry on with that.
yeah.
What suffering do you want to choose going forward? What are some of the struggles that you're facing now where you're like, what are some specifics?
Okay, so physically, that's one thing. Like, so you have to physically suffer if you want to be healthy and fit, going to the gym. But it's fun suffering. The more you do it, the more fun it gets. But you don't realize that your body is physically suffering, but because we know the end result, we don't feel the pain.
Yeah.
So that happens with everything else. So when you're facing your own demons with anything you haven't confronted with yourself, the more you get used to it, the more you enjoy it. You enjoy suffering because you know the end goal. And it's like, it's the same with like, for example, just simply doing things you hate.
Yeah.
Like doing the things you hate, like any chores, anything to get out of the way, because you have to see the end result. You have to keep the end result in your brain all the time so that you're walking through fire with a smile because you can see what's at the end, that type of thing. And it can come, like every individual person has it different. So it could be like, let's say, again, it varies with everyone, but let's say you have an end goal, but to get to that end goal, if you only do it on good days, you're choosing to avoid suffering. Whereas if you do it specifically when you don't feel like doing it, the days where you just feel like being on the beach doing anything else but working, if you choose to work when you don't want to work in any sense, then that's a form of suffering. You have to suffer. Like you have to get away from the dopamine rush, get away from the chasing the highs. You have to get away from that instant gratification. If you avoid convenience at all costs, then that's a form of suffering. When I say suffering, I don't mean like being in hell burning. Like
Yeah. No.
I just mean like you have to keep walking when you don't feel like walking.
Yeah, brother.
And then eventually, then you'll realize that it leads to results and those results make you happy. So you end up happily doing it when you don't want to do it. So you end up with this habit of like, good day, bad day, doesn't matter. I'm walking forwards.
Bro, I love that. Beginning with the end in mind.
Yeah.
That's great. I want to move into, bro, powerful stuff, man. I want to go back more into sort of the content, YouTube sort of space. I found an interesting stat, bro. It may be false, but you created your channel in February 28th, 2012, but you didn't upload your first video until June 18th, 2017. So was there a reason why?
Oh, no, that's just because I deleted so much videos.
Okay.
Which is another thing. There were so many videos I wish I didn't delete. And it's only because I was insecure about it, because I cared about what people thought. Ooh. I wish I kept them. It was mostly like my animations I was talking about, like all those like stop motion, all the stuff I used to do as a kid was all there. And then I just deleted it. I kept deleting videos and then I'd be like, no, I have to start from scratch. I have to do this. And it was just because of that.
Yeah.
It was nothing serious, but I was insecure and I didn't want some videos out. And, but it would be so funny to look at them now. I wish they were up there.
Reflect on them that way. Well, bro, I want to go to virality. When was your first like viral moment?
It was actually because of Jake Paul.
Oh,
so this is going to be, I don't care how cringe this is because it shaped everything I do. But when Jake and Logan Paul were like peaking and viral on the internet, they were like the hottest topic on the internet. There was this, and I'm pretty sure now that I look back at it, it was so fake. It was not real at all because it's like, like, you know how YouTubers always fake things to exaggerate? Like, it was just one of those things. But Jake Paul got hacked. And the person who hacked him uploaded a video like saying, I've taken over the channel, blah, 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 blah. And it was like really dark and it looked like this hacker theme and all that kind of stuff. When I played the video, it was under a voice changer. So it sounded really distorted. And then, so I was like, I could make a video exposing who this is because I was really good at technical stuff. I was like editing and everything. So I decoded the voice and put it back to its normal state and then found the actual person's voice. And I vlogged that process and I uploaded it. And that went to roughly 100,000 views on YouTube. And this is when, before shorts or anything. So this was like when YouTube was harder to get. That was my first time going viral. I was going crazy. I was like, oh my God. And it's just because I actually did expose the person's voice who was hacking his channel. Yeah. So I provided some kind of useful information. But to me, I was going viral. I was oh my God, this is so cool. And then that was it. And
what year was that?
That was 2000, I think 18.
Wow.
18 or 17 or 18, I'm not sure. It was at the peak of that YouTube era, yeah.
Oh my God, well, bro, since then you've sort of taken over. And another crazy stat was in the year of 2023, I don't even know if you're aware of this, but you had exponential growth. You had 7.5 million subscribers in that year. That's in 2023. Bro, actually, no, I haven't even sort of said the numbers for the bro. Crazy. I'm telling you guys, mad. You know what? I'll say it. 16.5 million subscribers. All good, bro. There's 3 New Zealands. That's
3.5, I think.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that is mad. In your opinion, what do you think it is about your content that people are just so drawn to and love?
There's a few things. So it's I can figure out what people want to see. That's what I've been the past 5 years, ever since TikTok started and I started to get into videos more. I know what people want to see and I know how to make it better. I see what's working. I can see what people like seeing, but I can give it to them in a way that I know they'll like even more. Because not all my content is original, but I just make it in my own way. I make it better. That's why everything I've gone viral for was a older trend that wasn't taken to its full potential. So I just I can see how big things can be.
Yeah.
And then through a million trial and errors, I start to tweak and figure out what works, what doesn't work. And then I tend to just provide my, I put my color on it and people seem to just resonate with that, I guess.
Yeah.
It's they either really hate it or they really love it. But either way, you just make them react to it intensely.
Yeah, bro.
And it's
do you look at your videos or do you script it yourself, all your videos yourself, script?
No, 90% of the time, yes. I have a couple of people who in my team who help me do stuff. One of them edits videos, one of them just runs Discord and stuff for me. But sometimes they'll see a pattern with something I'm doing and be these videos are working. Here's another idea that fits with this theme. And sometimes I'll get their ideas and stuff. And then, but most of the time it's scripting it based on what's worked before and then taking it further and experimenting other directions. But a lot of it is going through a dark tunnel. So you can't always, you don't know the result. You can't always know the result, but as long as you just keep trying, eventually you're going to keep finding the light in every individual idea. Or sometimes it's just dark. And
you mentioned the word global though. Is there a difference when approaching your videos, the difference between something popping in New Zealand versus something popping worldwide?
Huge difference. Yes.
Wow.
Huge difference. So to blow up in New Zealand, you have to make, and I mean only in New Zealand, you have to make some form of entertainment that the world wouldn't understand. It's inside jokes. It's for example, I'm sure you have inside jokes with a group of friends where you guys would laugh at it, but a stranger would hear it and be like, what the f- is wrong with you guys? Like, it's like that, but on a bigger level. So it's like, I tend to know this is you almost have to choose. You have to choose either to be famous in New Zealand only and then be comfortable in that bubble. Or if you want to take it further and go global, you have to be willing to be completely misunderstood here. And I don't mean just New Zealand. I mean small town energy in general. In small town energy, if you want to go global, you have to be willing to be completely discriminated because people are going to be like, what do you, like, this doesn't make sense to us. Like it's just, this doesn't resonate. And so you end up having to, people around you will ridicule you, like metaphorically at least. But the world will eventually start catching on. That type of thing.
Wow. Bro, I love that. What do you think makes a good video? If you're thinking about going global, you want to go global, what makes a good video in your opinion?
That's a whole nother topic I can like get really
Dive
deep into. But it's like, it really depends because you have to separate it with which platform you're talking about. Each platform has a different like priority of what is good and what's viral. But and on top of that, there's demographics. But to go fully global, I think Mr. Beast.
Yeah,
people love seeing people. It's not because they like Mr. Beast. It's because he knows that people like seeing people go through things. It's like, ooh, what's this person gonna do in this challenge? It's this person gonna make this decision or that. It's just people like seeing people. And so to go fully global, that's why game shows and stuff work really well. That's why Mr. Beast is going towards game shows because like we love seeing other people do things that either we would do or wouldn't do. It's like, oh, I would have done this, I would have done that while you're sitting here watching. But yeah, at the end of the day, to take it really, really far, the furthest extent is people just love seeing people. It's like, I think that it comes down to that.
Bro, I actually watched your latest video. I can't remember when you posted it. It was the Wolverine stunts.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. Bro, it reminded me of Mr. Beast, the way that he filmed. So I'm assuming you look at him for inspiration as well?
Actually, no. I mean, I look at him for like visionary inspiration. I see like how far he's taken it and I have to keep that in mind. But for inspiration, like for my current inspiration for the series that I'm working on at the moment, I normally look at, there's this guy called Nick Pro. He's like a really big parkour YouTuber, but he does it in the context of Marvel. So he's always like bringing Marvel and DC and stuff into real life. And so like that guy's like, I feel like that's something I've always wanted to do, but I've never gotten into yet. Yeah. Because I got so caught up in doing only what works and what's viral. But now I'm starting to slowly do the things that I actually want to work on. And so that's a whole nother, like, that's like the beginning stages. I like the plan for that series is completely bigger than what it looks like right now.
Wow,
it's a different thing.
So now you're thinking less about the audience and more about what is it that Adam wants to do? What do I want to do?
Yes and no. So it's like, because what works instantly with the audience is things that are usually irrelevant to oneself. Like if you really want to go viral right now, you have to completely ignore what you want to do and do what just psychologically works.
Yeah.
But if you want to do what you want to do, you have to keep both in mind. So you have to be willing, again, that goes back to being willing to be misunderstood for a long time, because I know what the end goal is here. Like I know what's going to happen in the future, and I know that this method works, but it takes longer. But the problem is people give up because it's not happening fast enough. Yeah. Whereas it's one of those things you just have to kind of have faith in the path. And I just know the path that I'm walking on right now. When it comes to like those type of videos, I know what it's going to lead to. So I'm willing to be misunderstood along the way because it completely deviates from my usual content. That's why like a lot of my subscribers, like right now, I would have had like 20 million subscribers, but like, you know how over time, this many people follow you, this many people unfollow you. Yeah. So it averages out at 16 mil. Yeah. But I've had more than that, but a lot of them hate me. Because I stopped making the things that they like doing, they like seeing, or just at least I make it less, and so they take it too personally. It's like, but it's just one of those things that happens. Yeah.
Speaking of numbers, do the numbers like mean something important to you?
Not Not really, no. It's like right now, like with how the world works right now, no matter how much subscribers you have, it just matters how you perform that day individually. Like people, like right now, for example, everyone could unsubscribe and I would get the same amount of views because the two different things, because the algorithm just constantly shows videos based on how that video performs. So I've just developed the skill of knowing how to show up every single day, regardless of who's subscribed to me or not.
Yeah, wow.
And it's like, so if people subscribe or don't subscribe, it doesn't really make a difference as much as people think it does.
Oh my God.
So it's like, I know people who have tens of millions of followers and subscribers, but they're dead. They don't get views anymore because they've lost the ability to just like show up and make videos.
Yeah.
And so they rely on numbers. So that's why I don't really.
That's so interesting, bro. That's so similar when I'm speaking with entrepreneurs and business owners. They say the same thing. If everything was taken away from me now, I'd still be able to get it all back with the knowledge that I've acquired. You're talking about it from a content perspective, which I actually love. It's kind of buzzy. It's kind of, but it's very similar.
Yeah, it's really similar to business.
Yeah.
It's like, because you weren't given those numbers. You created those numbers and you can just do it again. But but people remember. So they see you again. It's like, oh, it's that guy. So it's never really from scratch. Like you can fluctuate, but you're constantly going up because you can't get out of people's brains. People see you once, they're going to remember.
Yeah.
They see you 2 times, they're going to keep remembering. So you could just wipe everything out and it stays in people's memories. So it's like it's kind of an energy rather than a number on the screen.
Yeah, bro.
The number just kind of shows how many people scrolled past you, I guess.
Wow. It's quite similar to think about the process rather than the result, right? It's kind of a similar analogy. Bro, speaking of that, I actually want to, my brother mentioned in one of our episodes talking about omnipresent, and omnipresent pretty much being, you want to be everywhere on all channels, just no matter what it is, just put content out there. What are your thoughts on being omnipresent? Just pretty much what you're saying, just hit it.
I think 100% agree with it. Yeah. Just be everywhere all at once until you get so busy that someone has to do it for you. But until then, you should be scraping for every bit that you can.
Wow.
Just like no matter whether you can see the result or not, just everywhere.
Do you struggle with that idea of playing a character? Like, is there a difference between the Adam that I'm talking to now and Adhemz on the media?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. The difference is that as much as I like talking like this is me. Like I'm the evil mastermind behind Adhemz. But that character I've created is kind of like I said before, how if you really want to go viral, if you really want to be known and stuff, you have to start doing what works, and you have to adhere to people's psychological triggers.
Yeah.
So whatever that comes, however that comes, you have, I've kind of calculated what has to be done in order to achieve a specific result. If you keep trying to be yourself, no one's going to care and no one's going to find you until you become someone. But to become someone, you have to show people what they want to see, and then they want to know who you are.
Wow.
Like, for example, Justin Bieber could use the shittiest camera on earth and be goofy and be himself and give his opinions, and people will take that and run with it. They'll be like, oh my God, look, he's doing this, he's doing that. He could do something. Whereas someone who's 10 times funnier than Justin Bieber, to someone who's 10 times more entertaining and smarter, is never going to be seen.
Yeah.
But because, this is just a random example, but because he started off with music, again, a psychological trigger, he hit people emotionally. He became someone in their minds. Then he can be himself.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to keep being yourself too much, again, that goes back to ego. You're being selfish before you're being selfless. Be selfless first. Lose yourself a little bit and then show them who you are.
Wow.
So it's like the person that I've gone viral as is just what I know is gonna work.
Mm.
And then they're gonna see who I actually am after. And they're gonna be like, oh, that's this guy. What the hell? It's like, for example, a director isn't gonna keep being himself in every movie he makes.
Mm.
He's just making the movie because he knows this is what's gonna work. This is the script. This is how the movie is gonna work. This is how the actor is gonna be in production.
Mm.
But then when you actually get to know the director of the show, it's like, oh, this person actually has feelings. It's like an actual human being.
Yeah.
It's not just a show.
Yeah,
so it's
bro.
like you have to create a persona that works online, like like any TV show or movie that works without letting your ego get in the way. Because the moment you let your ego get in the way, you're gonna start showing them what you want them to see, rather than what they want to see.
Wow.
You have to play with their egos first. Like, because again, none of this is like, it's kind of a gray zone when it comes to this stuff. Like, morally and philosophically, it's a very gray zone, because it's like what? So you have to sell yourself? You have to lose yourself? Do you have to?
Bro.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes you have to let go of those things, hold it in, and then once it's ripe and ready, then be yourself. But don't do one or the other. A lot of people just become like online NPCs.
Yeah, bro.
And when they get on an interview or a podcast, they actually are that idiot.
Yeah.
It's like, whereas sometimes you just have to be like, okay, like, I'm going to work and this is how this business is going to run, but this isn't me just yet. But once this runs big enough, people are going to want to know who I am. Then that's going to be ready to be presented.
Yeah, bro.
So sometimes you just kind of have to hold on, wait a little, do what works. And then, as long as you're not harming anyone, as long as you're not lying or harming anyone in any way, just do what works, entertain people, do what they want to see, and then they will want to see what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
It's like, kind of, you have to reverse psychology in that sense.
Bro, that's crazy. I want to actually share my experience while we're here and just see if you can give me a little bit of insight to what you think about this, because that's huge. Maybe it is ego focused for what I'm hearing from you, but I was on a TV show for a couple years, New Zealand TV, so it's just...
That's why you look familiar.
But you get social recognition in New Zealand, you know, but they love the character that you're playing. So it's not you. And so that, I remember thinking, I was like, when I leave here, I think it is ego. I think you're right now that I'm even thinking about it. I remember thinking when I left, I was like, I'm going to make sure all these people respect me for me, not a character that I'm playing. And so when I left there, that's when I was like, okay, how do I plan that? How do I base my life off that? What would your advice be for someone like me who wants to be respected as themselves? Probably a buzzy question to ask, but
I would say there's a few. It's actually a good question, because this is what a lot of, because most of the questions that I get are people will be like, how do I be famous? I'm like, just go that way. But I like this question because you've already done something and you're asking, how do I maneuver this situation? So I like to calculate those type of situations now, because I would say, in my personal opinion, because I would take advantage of the fact that people see you that way. Exploit the hell out of that. If that's what they want to see, cool, that's what they want to see.
Yeah.
Take that further and further. Let that make you more known until you're too known for people to care about how you started.
Wow.
And then they'll be like, oh, this is actually who he is. But if you kill that character off too quickly, you didn't let them get attached enough to them. So it's like you have to, again, it does come back to ego, because most of the time, when it comes to social media, the ego that comes with it, the problem is that people, the creator, they don't care about what people want to see. They just want to shove something else in people's faces. Yeah. And then they get too egotistical to realize that it's like, that's just how you repel people, and you don't actually care about what people want to see. You don't have a passion for entertaining them. You have a passion of attention seeking.
Yeah. What you want to portray.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of social media creators is most of it is a passion for attention seeking, not actual entertainment. For actual entertainment, you take your ego out of the way, you do what works, and eventually, when you get big enough, people are gonna want to know who is Zach.
Yeah, bro.
Forget this character he's been playing. He's got to have something else in there. But you have to be patient and humble enough to, along the way, be forgotten a little, and then bam. But remember, you're not really being forgotten because you own the character. You own that other character that they think they know you as.
Yeah.
So just take advantage of it. Keep wearing the mask. And then eventually, someone's going to try and take the mask off you. Like, who are you really?
Yeah.
So it's like you have to let go of that ego because the ego can make you think you deserve 10 years of work in 1 year. And it's like, and that's the slowest way to make progress. The fastest way to make progress is to just like let go, do what works, give people what they want to see until you're big enough to just for people to be like, okay, enough of this. Who are you?
Yeah.
That's because think about how Hollywood actors operate now.
Yeah, bro.
A lot of people want to know who they actually are after they've done their big thing.
Yeah.
For decades, they do their big thing, but now it's like, what's Tom Cruise's favorite food? It's like, who cares what movies he's played? I want to know who Tom Cruise is now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's that type of thing. So it's like, the ego can make you want it too quickly that you sabotage it. And that's the only barrier. That's like the biggest obstacle is you have to let go of that. You have to understand you will get what you want. You just don't let your ego make you think that the way it's happening is wrong.
Yeah.
Because it wants everything right now. It just wants to win the lottery.
Yeah, bro.
So don't let that's the fastest way to lose it.
Wow.
So just hold off to it and let the process happen naturally. And then it'll come back.
Oh my God.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You sound like you really love what you do, making videos.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you could see yourself doing? Is there anything else?
I'd say the only thing like that I'd be happy with doing, and it's still kind of related to videos, but the only thing, if I had to stop making videos and stop YouTube and stuff, the only thing I'd say is probably a stuntman or something. Yeah. Because like that's kind of what I do in some of my videos anyways. And so it's like, because I like doing flips and stuff, but it's the only thing that I do when I'm not filming anyways. It's like, if I'm not filming, I'm probably just training or doing backflips. It's like, there's no in between. I don't really enjoy much outside of performance one way or another. Yeah.
Bro, what do you think you have to do to be able to do this, what you're doing now, making videos? What do you think you have to do to be able to do that forever, for the next, playing in decades? What do you think you have to do to maintain that? In other words, you could also look at it from what you mentioned earlier, beginning with the end in mind. What's the end in mind for you now?
You mean like materialistically or just philosophically what the end is?
I guess probably more just so that you're able to continue this thing that you love.
For anyone to do anything forever, especially if it's like something that isn't being done every day, is do it no matter how you feel. Like if things actually do collapse and things go bad, start again and get back on the track. The problem is like 99% of content creators give up and stop because of exactly what you said, because they think they realize they can't do it forever. So they get realistic, they get a job, they do something else. Whereas realistically, it's a fluctuation and they fall for the downhill parts. You have to understand that you will fail.
Yeah.
You have to fail and you have to keep, like, no matter how the roller coaster goes, keep looking forwards. If you fall off the roller coaster, which sometimes a lot of people do, I have as well, just get back on.
Yeah, bro.
And it's like, even if you have to get a job to support you on the side while you do it, do that as well. Get something to support it. Don't identify with the failures. Don't identify with the downs or the ups even. Just keep going forwards. Like,
find a way.
Find a way, no matter what it is.
You love what you do. You've built this community, this following, crazy numbers. You've built this life. Those are many positives. I want to dive into more of some of the negatives. What have been some of the negatives along the journey?
I think probably the mental health side of it, because like the highs and lows I was talking about are like, I've seen people genuinely go into like suicidal psychosis because of this, because you go on this high rally. The problem is when you do get successful and you lose it. And the first few times that happens, that can destroy your mind. That can destroy your self-esteem. That can, like, I've genuinely seen people who are on the brink of suicide because of social media. Wow. And it's actually, but those are the people that I've known personally. There's people I don't know. There's so much stories on the internet of how many people have killed themselves because of social media. And it's like, that's the downsides. I understand what they've gone through to feel that way. But because of that anger, I kept going. Yeah. I'm like, no, you, I'm going to keep going. Yeah, brother. And it's like, I think that's the only thing. It's just, you have to be prepared to lose everything and then get it back. Because the problem is how the internet will treat you. Like when you're going up, they all love you. But when you're going down, they don't wait for you to go back up. They will shit on you and make sure you go lower. And you will take them seriously. Like no matter how much you want to ignore them, you will read the comments and you'll read what people say about you. You'll take them seriously. And you'll feel all that weight of everything people are saying. And for a lot of people, not everyone's going to handle that. A lot of people will break with that. And then it's like, I think that's what people don't realize is if you really want to go through all this, you have to walk through broken glass.
Oh my God.
And it's like, on the outside it looks cool. Like, oh, you made videos and now it's your lifestyle and you make money. And it's like, yeah, but it's like metaphorically, I was literally just crawling through glass along the way.
Wow, that's powerful, brother. What helped you get out the other side?
I would say, I don't want to be mediocre. That's the only thing. There's a couple of things. One thing is I don't want to settle for that type of life, for the average type of life that people think they should live. And the other thing is, so in 2021, I won't go into too much detail with this. I don't want to get too emotional, but like I had lost someone and that loss kind of hit me like a bus. And I was like, it kind of opened up, it was kind of my second opening. So the first one was meeting Joseph and stuff. The second opening was when I had lost someone and that's when I felt like I had a DMT trip. I went through so many weird epiphanies after that. As much as I hated going through it, it made me who I am right now today because I realized how temporary this life is. And I realized like they're gone. That means everyone's going to be gone. This is not one little case. We're all going to be gone. And the thing about that is what a lot of people don't realize is like everything, there's a chance for like many things to happen and not happen. Like I can't promise you whether tomorrow you're going to win the lottery or trip over or whether, I don't know what's going to happen, but I can promise you one thing. We're all going to die. I can't promise you like what shirt you're going to wear tomorrow. I don't know. But I can promise you we're all going to be gone. But the hard thing about that is one day we're going to be 80 years old in your deathbed. You know your time is coming. And no matter what excuse you made, it's going to be too late. Everything you wish you were thinking about, what if you did this, what if you did that, everything one day is going to be too late. You're either going to be in your own deathbed wondering this, like everything's going to be too late. Like you're not, everything you thought about, you can never do anymore. You had your chance, you had your time. It's all going to be gone. Or you're going to be at someone's funeral. And every argument, every excuse you've ever given that person, nothing's going to matter. You're going to realize how everything goes down the drain and everything is a shallow excuse when you're at the end and you realize that it's actually too late.
Yeah.
you're going to realize how much excuses you made. It's two things. And one of them is like the funeral part's going to probably be first. You're going to be at someone's funeral. You're going to realize how much time you could have spent with that person. It's going to be too late. And I don't mean this with just content creation. I mean like just life in general.
Absolutely.
Everything's going to be too late. And then one day it's going to be your own funeral. You're going to be dying. And you'll be like, holy shit, why didn't I do more? Why didn't I at least try? That's going to hit. That's going to come to everyone.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't like this topic, but they don't realize the only place we're promised, at least in this life, is death.
Yeah.
And if you keep that in mind, what if it's tomorrow? I should be doing something today.
Yeah.
And every day turns into doing what you really can do because you know death is coming. And it's like that kind of impending doom.
Oh my God.
It's like
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
No, I'd say I've thought about death the most ever in my life in the last year. I'm not too sure why, but it does. You still have obviously your bad days, but you try to appreciate, it makes you appreciate time more, moments more.
Yeah.
Don't get it right all the time, but I think thinking about death, I think is actually kind of healthy. If you think about it in the way that you're talking about how.
I think just the fact that you said that, when you said how in the past year you've been thinking about death and you don't know why, I think that's because that's the first sign that you're gonna start making sure you do everything that you have in mind. All your goals are gonna actually start being open and possible just purely because you said that.
Yeah.
Because the moment you realize that we don't have time, we're all gonna be gone. When the moment you think about death in that sense, you're gonna realize how precious this is. You're gonna miss, one day you're gonna miss your bad days.
Yeah, bro.
You're gonna miss the times where you felt bad because you felt something. You're gonna miss them because you had a chance, you had the privilege to have a bad day in the first place.
Wow.
Which means you had good days, because it's like, you're gonna miss everything. Everything's all gonna be a dream. It's all gonna be gone.
Yeah, bro.
So-
That's very powerful. Thank you. I think a lot of particularly younger males struggle with the two. This idea of feeling the pressures from society. Like one of mine would be, you're talking about goals and things like that, time. One of my struggles now is I feel like I have to achieve certain things now within a certain time frame. I feel like I need to get things done now, which has been putting a lot of pressure on me. And I know that it's quite common for a lot of young males as well. Majority of our audience is men. What do you think we need to work on, bro, as a collective, as men?
This is gonna sound weird, or at least bad. I don't know. Some people don't like this, but I think the moment you stop focusing on your immediate feelings, the happier you'll be. So stop focusing on how you feel. You'll be happier if you focus on how other people feel. Think about it. Assuming you have the right people around you, like your good friends and stuff. If you see that your mom, your parents are proud of you and they're happy with how much you've achieved, and if you see your friends or your girlfriend or whoever is proud of you and happy with what you achieved, you're going to feel how they feel. You're going to be like, oh, I feel good now. But if you don't do anything and you keep focusing on how you feel, like, oh, am I happy? Am I sad? Who cares? Get stuff done. Like seriously, mostly for men. Like feelings are for when you're petting a cat or when you're hugging your mom. But feelings are not for who you're going to be in this lifetime.
Yeah.
You have to put that down, pick up the sword, whatever that sword is to you in your individual life, and start walking, start going forwards. Because you only feel bad, you only fluctuate and get moody and depressed when you're not doing enough. You clearly have too much time. If you're able to sit down and be like, I feel depressed today. Why? You should be so busy that all you feel is whether you've achieved the result you want. That's going to make you feel good. Then you'll be like, oh, I seem to always feel good because I'm always busy getting stuff done. And as men, biologically, we are happier under stress. When we're stressed, testosterone rises. Our mood literally gets higher. When you're stressed, busy doing stuff, and when people see you in that way, people are happier and they like you more. And I'm talking about like immediate family, not like who cares about what the world thinks, but it's like when your family and your parents and your friends see you being so busy and so always doing stuff, and you're always like, and obviously if you're like, your goals are to provide for them and stuff, then everyone's going to be happy, and you're going to be happy that you're achieving so much. And then you're going to be a man, because you just have to start getting stuff done. You can only waste time thinking about how you feel if you're just doing nothing. So if you just pick up a sword and do it.
Great advice. Less about our own feelings, more about making other people feel.
Yeah. That sounds bad in terms of in the mental health thing. However, but it's just, if you flip it around, it's selfish. If you do the opposite, you're being selfish, because it's like if you do more about your own feelings and less about others, that selfishness is how you spiral down to real depression.
Yeah, bro.
Because then that depression, you're going to start filling it with useless dopamine rushes. That's how you start chasing random highs. That's how you start doing things that are meaningless. Whereas when you focus on how other people feel, you're going to feel 10 times better yourself. So it's like you'll end up to be selfish. You have to start being selfless. So when you're selfless, in the end, all of that is going to come back to you. How much you've accomplished, how you've made people feel is going to make you feel 10 times better. So you do that, you won't have to worry about how you feel.
It literally reminds me about the example used of Joseph Rakic, about the selflessness and the way that he was able to show so much time and give value to everyone, but still making them feel good, you know?
Exactly.
Great advice, brother. Work-ons for men. What about for Adam? What about for you, brother? What are some things that you feel like you need to work on?
Many things, like so many things. Like if I had nothing to work on, I wouldn't be improving or going towards my thing. I think the thing I need to work on the most, but immediately right now, I'd say spending more time appreciating what's happening right now. I've had this problem like told to me in front of like my girlfriends, family, everyone. It's like, one problem I have is we'll be out somewhere, supposed to be having fun. I'm just on my phone editing. Like I kind of tend to be like, I get this stressing pressure of like, I need to be getting something done. Like I said before, like we need to be doing stuff, getting stuff done. But at the same time, that eats at me almost every day. It's like, I can't go and do something and appreciate just quality time with anyone without making some form of progress. I've kind of lost my human sense in that context. It's like kind of everywhere we go, it's like I'm just doing something.
I struggle with that a lot as well, bro. What do you think that is? I need to work on that too. When you're there sitting with your mom and I'm thinking about my boxing session or whatever it is, something else in life, you got to discipline yourself even to
You have to discipline yourself from your own disciplines.
Yeah.
We get addicted to discipline that the moment we sit down and relax, we feel weird. You know what I mean? It's like, because you're so used to doing, like getting stuff done, whether it's physically or like business-wise or anything, that when you're not doing it, you're like, your brain's metabolism is like prepared to work.
Yeah.
Yet you're just sitting down having coffee with like someone. It's like, no, chill. I think that's the only thing. It's like, to be honest, I still don't know how to fix that, because I can pretend to appreciate the moment, and it indirectly makes me end up actually appreciating the moment. But at the same time, I'm still anxious about what's next.
Yeah, bro.
It's like, it's weird. Every time that I've been called out on this, especially in my like last like relationship, it wasn't the destroyer. It was that was a whole different situation. But it's like in my last relationship, I learned a lot about myself because I was with someone who was very intellectual and like reflective.
Yeah.
So she kind of gave me a lot of insight about myself, and she made me realize how much I'm focusing on the next thing, and I'm never here. You're never like word for word, like you're never actually here.
Yeah, brother.
You're always over there. You're standing here physically, but you're always over there. And I'm like,
Yeah, bro.
like, yeah, it's like, it's because, and the worst part is I've accomplished the things that I used to dream about, but I don't care. I need to, still don't have a yacht. Like,
Yeah, brother.
no, but like, it's weird. It's like, I don't know when it'll stop, but I know I need to be able to control it. I don't want it to stop. I'll never let it stop, but I know that if I don't let it stop, I'm just gonna, everything's gonna pass me by and I'm not gonna realize. Same with you as well. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
discipline
Yeah.
your disciplines. I love
exactly.
that.
Yeah. I made that up just now. I didn't
That's
realize that I need to be disciplining my disciplines. Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy. Outside of mahi, outside of work, outside of content, what else? What else do you enjoy? I know you're always thinking about the next thing, but when you are having that coffee or, you know, obviously my bro loves the gym, but what else?
I actually don't know. Like, it's really weird. Now that you ask me that, I realize I don't really do much outside of that. But the things I actually enjoy are like, just going to the beach. I love just being at the beach, swimming, getting sand everywhere. But even if I'm at the beach, I'm going to be doing flips. Like I have to be, I'm doing something. I'm just like, I have to be doing some form of physical activity.
Yeah.
I can't actually sit down and relax. It's a weird, unless I'm sleeping. It's a weird concept to me. It's like,
No, I love that. Hey, you're a male, man. That's what we do. Speaking of always thinking into the future, I want to go there. Future Adam, 5-10 years. What would you like to have achieved by then? Where would you like to see yourself?
in terms of personal life, I would want to have had a family. I want to make a family, get married, and have I don't like the Playboy life. I don't want to be rich and famous so that I could get all the girls and do all that stuff. I don't like this. I like having a home. That's one thing. Like that's personal life. Business life. I want to have built a brand, a specific brand that can exist on its own without me. So it's like I've created big enough, like for example, how Stan Lee created Marvel,
Yeah.
but now Marvel runs without Stan Lee. It exists as its own entity, but the people who love Marvel always respect Stan Lee because they know that's how it started. I want to do something in that sense.
Wow.
So I want to build something that is big enough to run on its own eventually, and just have a brand, and then just live in that sense where it's like create something so big that I just get everything I get from it is passive and I can just do my own things.
Yeah.
But even then, my own things will probably be another project
Yeah, bro.
to work on
Wow.
that will make me have other goals. So it's like, but other than that, yeah, I need to build some form of brand.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's what I'm starting with right now.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think you're doing a bloody good job with that, man. Very, very similar. Couple more questions from me. This is more of a networking question. It's Jake and I's work on with the show, but who do you know that we should know?
Ooh, that's a good one. I was gonna say Joseph, but like you already know him. So let me see. You mean, okay, is it limited to New Zealand?
Anywhere, bro.
I think The Rock. See, I know that sounds like a big miracle. It's not.
No.
Because
Yeah, you know, we're talking about limiting beliefs. My initial thing is like, maybe there's the ceiling. But
okay, but here's the thing. So this dude will repost like anything that he believes in. And you know Enzo Muscle, right?
yeah, bro.
He because they painted his face like as a mural on their wall, he reposted it and he said he's gonna visit that gym when he comes to New Zealand.
Wow.
And it's like just like Joseph, people who are actually big and up there, you'll be surprised at how much time they'll give you. So it's like, and he's always trying to rep anything that's related to where he came from.
Wow.
So it's like, it's honestly not as far-fetched as you think. It's like, I think, especially when he sees like young men who come from the islands that he came from, he wants to promote those people.
Yeah,
He will do anything he can to promote those people. So it's like, he's not doing you a favor. He would want, I feel like he's the type who would want to be doing this kind of thing.
Wow.
So it's like, and the other thing too is the way you should look at it is like, if you think that's too big, what's the next step down from there? And then who's that person? When you think who's that group of people next step down from there, keep taking that next step down. And then you'll find that you actually have access to that path. So you take it down, down, down to a more realistic list of people, start with those people. But then when you have crossed those people off the list, move up, move up, move up. Who's the closest person who can get to the rock? And eventually, like it's like a snowball effect.
Start with the end in mind.
Start with the end. Work your way back and be like, who is the most, like the next immediate person that can actually be on this show?
Yeah.
I'm sure you know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone big enough to talk to The Rock. Work your way back from there. Get all those people on like one after the other. And eventually just do it. Wow. Less emotion, more doing.
Yeah, brother.
It's like, remember, emotions, do you have any pets?
Yes. Got a dog named Kobe.
Okay. Leave your emotions for Kobe and your mom, your girlfriend, or whoever. But don't have emotions when it comes to this. This needs to be done no matter what you believe and no matter how you feel. And then you'll feel good and start believing in what's like actually possible.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you, brother. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I'm going to see you on the Martin Show and, where should we go? We'll go 2 or 3 years. Hey, we'll go 2 years. Dreams are free. My final question for you, brother.
Yeah.
I want to go to younger Adam. Could be the 8-year-old that's just come to NZ.
Yeah.
Could be the Adam that's just about to embark on his YouTube journey. What's the one thing you'd want to say to him, bro?
Ooh, that gave me goosebumps. You actually did it. You keep going. You actually did it. Because I've had this in my brain ever since then. And like, there were times where I was like, all the ups and downs, like I've cried over this so many times. Like I've gone through so much of it. And if he could hear that I'm saying you actually did it, he'd be like, what? Oh. Like, yeah, you actually did it. Somehow you actually did it.
Yeah, brother, that's powerful, man. I love that. We have a closing tradition on this podcast, brother, where the previous guest leaves the next guest a question, not knowing who he or she is.
Okay.
The question for you today is, oh my God. This is a different one. What color undies are you wearing?
I'm not wearing it. I'm just kidding. Orange. I'll show you. It's orange. I'm wearing Halloween underpants.
You know, oh my God. Bro, usually they don't know. Lou, you're cheeky. She was our previous guest. Brother, wow. Where can the people find you if they haven't found you already? Drop your socials, everything. You got a Discord, I know, the Z Gang, this Dat, drop it all, bro.
Yeah, so Discord, the Adhemz basement, Z Gang basement, and YouTube, Adhemz, Instagram, Adhemz, Snapchat, everything Adhemz.
Yeah, wicked, bro.
Yeah.
If New Zealand hasn't followed my bro yet, subscribe to his channel. But if you have, then hit the subscribe button as well if you've made it this far. We will also drop _the Martin Show right here. And we're going to be back next week for another episode. We're going to finish this with another Sigma face. We're going to hit it in a 3, 2, 1. Love team. Thank you.